Up next, and every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, tune in to Grand Theft Auto Biographies with Guinness Walker. And don't forget Grand Theft Auto Geographies, Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern. Only on Weazel, confirming your prejudices.
Warning, this program is entirely fictional and made by a sole Canadian man. All characters and events in the show, including the host, even those that are based on real people, are entirely fictional. The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
America, the land of the free, home of the brave, and the stupid, and the criminally insane.
Yes! Yes!
The United States has seen its fair share of gangbangers, mobsters, and psychotics who've roamed our beloved streets, causing untold chaos, destruction, and corruption.
Sometimes a price is more effective if paid out of lead, not gold. This is the first lesson I will give you.
Tonight on Grand Theft Auto Biographies. Materialism, murder, and mayhem. These are the pastimes and properties of tonight's subject. We will examine one of the most powerful men in the modern history of Russian organized crime, and more directly, his extensive meddling in the great American meritocracy. We will follow the life of a gangster by night, compensating fanboy by day, who used his extensive power as a mobster, a business owner, and a feared man of violence to terrorize practically everyone around him, from his employees to his business associates, and even his own sister. A man who spent most of his life in Russia, but whose fate was sealed the moment he set his eyes on the worst place in America, Ray Bulgarin. This episode of Grand Theft Auto Biographies brought to you by my incredible supporters on Patreon. Sign up today to get all the music from my shows, early access, and a spot in the credits. If you enjoy this series, consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon to get notifications of new uploads. It costs you nothing, and it helps the channel tremendously. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the show. Ray Bulgarin was born in 1958 in the Soviet Union to parents whose names we could not obtain for this program. We were, however, able to confirm that Ray had at least one sister, and possibly more, but no brothers. His one sister, Galina Bulgarin, who we speculate based on known interactions, fought frequently with her brother in a typical sibling rivalry relationship, while the others remained unidentified, if they existed at all. Growing up during the height of the Khrushchev era of Soviet politics, Bulgarin would have been witness to the great de-Stalinization efforts of the new government and the subsequent anti-religious campaign that would brand much of the Union as explicitly secular, at least on paper. Despite this and the radical anti-American sentiments present in the country at the time, Ray would assumedly become obsessed with what little American media he may have been able to get his hands on, and would form a desire to visit America early on. Being a rather hefty man, presumably from a young age, Ray would take up wrestling as a child, and was, according to his sister, forced to take steroids by his coach at the time, which may or may not have affected Bulgarin's ability to perform in the bedroom later in life as an adult. Also according to his sister Galina, Ray's mother appears to have shared a sentiment of disappointment in her only son, which may have contributed to or been triggered by his many failures as a man in her eyes. These events may have served as formative moments for Ray, who spent much of his life from then on attempting to compensate for something, whether through prejudicial and bigoted remarks or overpriced celebrity knickknacks and obscene luxuries. At some point in Bulgarin's presumed early adulthood, we believe he became involved in Russian organized crime, and found that his talents for violence and intimidation were better appreciated by fellow criminals than his family. He would find his niche among murderers and psychopaths as a human trafficker, working in some unknown capacity to facilitate moving people across the Adriatic Sea for exorbitant fees, and at a great risk to their own lives. The details of when and how Bulgarin began working as a Russian mobster and just how he ascended the ranks of criminal conspirators is unknown, but we speculate by his early to mid-20s he had established a new family of his own, and would continue to accumulate power and influence in his native country of Russia, then the Soviet Union. We also believe that around this time, Ray Bulgarin would first meet and befriend the founding members of another powerful Russian organized crime outfit, the Faustin Bratva. He would even form an apparently close relationship with co-founder and brains of the operation, Dmitry Raskolov, whom we have previously speculated may have used this relationship to gain his own initial foothold in the Russian criminal underworld. There are those who believe that Bulgarin actually began his criminal career in America, rather than Russia, but as far as we are able to find, this is unconfirmed and appears to be based on the fact that Ray's criminal activity in America began in 1989. By the 1980s, Bulgarin and perhaps his entire family had moved to the worst place in America, Liberty City, and began to enjoy its many nightlife amenities as well as consume American culture freely in all the worst ways imaginable. By 89, Ray would be arrested when he is caught importing an entire ship of Albanian sex workers for presumed sale or use at brothels and in prostitution rings, but the exact reasons remain unknown. Subsequently, he would be deported back to Russia, where he continued his human trafficking business and continued to grow his sphere of influence. Sometime after the Yugoslav or Balkan Wars, presumably around 2001, Ray would meet and employ a talented Serbian criminal contractor named Niko Bellic to assist in his human trafficking business. Niko would be tasked with smuggling people for Bulgarin out of the war-torn and often oppressive environments of Eastern Europe at the time into countries like Italy, but eventually a job would go horribly wrong. During a presumably routine operation for Niko, the ship would sink due to unknown reasons, and Bellic would flee the wreckage as the only survivor. Having no knowledge of the events firsthand, Ray would assume the worst of Niko and begin tracking him down to presumably kill him for, in his eyes, causing him to lose money when the ship's cargo of people are lost at sea. Despite his reach and influence, Ray would be unable to locate Niko fast enough, and the Serb would manage to join the merchant navy to escape Bulgarin completely, at least for the time being. Furious but with few options available to him, Ray would forget about Niko Bellic temporarily as his focus returned to his blossoming illicit businesses and dreams to expand back into America. He would by this time become so rich from his many illegal endeavors that he was able to afford such luxuries as a waterfront mansion in an unknown part of Europe, likely somewhere along the Adriatic coast, as well as several expensive American-made vehicles on top of many other superfluous expenditures which we could only speculate on. By 2008, Ray would make the decision to finally return to Liberty City, almost certainly by illegal means given that his deportation doesn't appear to have ever been reversed. In order to stay off the radar, he would even move into his sister's home in Dukes, who had still been living in America, likely since their family first arrived prior to 1989. Instead of buying new property and making his presence easily identifiable by potential authorities looking to arrest him, Ray would push his sister Galina to live upstairs, moving all of her things from the rooms he wished to use, and filling them with expensive musician equipment, posters, television sets, and other very America-centric entertainment. As if to make his arrival in America even more sweet, Ray would at this time meet up once again with his old friend and partner Dmitry Raskolov, who had by then had his own partner, Mikhail Faustin, killed, and taken over his organization for himself. Through Dmitry, Ray would learn of his first opportunity for revenge when Raskolov informs him of his coincidental relationship with Niko Bellic, who had ironically been the one to kill Faustin for him. With zero hesitation, Dmitry would give up Niko to Ray and orchestrate an attempted ambush under the guise of paying Bellic for his services in killing Mikhail. Ray would tag along with Dmitry and wait in the shadows for the perfect opportunity to make his presence known, and hopefully take his revenge for supposedly being ripped off by Niko.
Hello, Niko.
Hello, Mr. Bulgarin.
Where is our money?
I don't know. I didn't rob you.
Really?
We were busted a mile off the coast. I had to swim for my life. I don't know what happened. I nearly drowned.
Huh. My heart is bleeding.
I did my best! I didn't fuck up!
Niko and his backup, Little Jacob, would manage to kill all of Raskolov and Bulgarin's men, but before being caught themselves, Ray and Dmitry would make a quick escape. Having perhaps underestimated Niko Bellic, Ray would temporarily turn his attention in a new direction, when he learns that a group of diamonds he'd had stolen from him by some insane coincidence had been brought in on the very same boat as Niko Bellic, the Platypus, and were being sold to the highest bidder. While settling back into America and perhaps trying to find leads on the diamond thieves, Ray would begin attending nightclubs around the city with his right-hand lieutenant, Timur, including the famous Mason at 9 run by the well-known LC socialite, gay Tony Prince, and meet both him and his business partner, Luis Fernando Lopez. Looking for fun, adventure, and new muscle to recruit for his many legal ventures, Bulgarin would quickly become endeared to Lopez, and attempt to employ his services as a gun for hire despite his irrational hatred of Luis's boss and friend.
Gentlemen, my name's Tony Prince. Hope you're enjoying yourselves.
Ray Bulgarin. Tell me, where are the women?
Well, they're everywhere. It's that one over there's a TV starlet. That one there is a model. And that one there, I don't know, but I believe she just signed on with the Derriere campaign.
How much? To fuck, I mean.
No. They're not hookers. It's not that kind of club.
Everywhere is that kind of club. You just need to know how much to pay.
Yeah, well, listen. Can I buy you a gentleman a drink? Cindy! Cindy, come here. Take care of Mr. Bulgarin here. It's good to meet you. Please come back. Enjoy your night. My right-hand man, Luis, will take care of you. Good night.
Thank you.
So, gentlemen, more drinks?
Yes, please. Let's go. So how's it going, gentlemen?
The faggot is your boss?
Sure.
Must make for funny times at bonus time.
Hysterical.
Where does the coke come from in this place?
I don't know about that shit, man. I just make sure people don't get killed.
How very boring. I prefer it when they do.
You should come back on a busier night then. Normally it's wall-to-wall corpses by midnight.
You, I like. Faggot, not so much.
Hey, gentlemen, thank you. Luis, we gotta go. Good night.
Gentlemen.
Jesus, Russian, richer than the church. Buy this place, end all our troubles.
Yeah, nothing like Russian gangsters to bring a sense of peace and stability to a problem.
With 0 leads on the diamonds, Ray would instead return to his obsession with American media and entertainment, when he attempted to buy the Liberty City Rampage hockey team from European businessman Markiashvili, who refused the purchase. To make matters worse, Ashvili, who held a great deal of power in America already, would have a group of corrupt Noose, FIB agents, and LCPD officers, who were deep in his pocket, attempt to blackmail Bulgarin in order to have him, Timur, and much of his organization arrested.
Double it. Offer 20 million, and then we see if it is not for sale. If this painting is not hanging on my wall, your head will be. Okay? Think about that.
You want I should pay visit to his children at their school?
Not yet. I think there's always a prize in this city. Oh, Louis, excuse us. We're being rude.
Don't worry about it, man. I like the setup here.
These guitars are all collector's items. Celebrity rock memorabilia.
Okay, man, good for you. Got a nice place here, Mr. B.
That is piece of shit. I bought it for my sister.
Hey, you bring me to this fucking country and you keep me in an ugly cage. No one on TV lives in fucking Dukes. Then you come and move all my stuff into hallway and fill place with fucking guitars.
Shut up, bitch. Take your pills. A friend of mine is here.
Ha! You don't have any friends. You don't even have a business here. You are nothing in this
My
country.
sister. She's still getting adjusted. We all are.
So how can I help you?
Fuck you, Ray. You have ruined my life.
Yes! Yes! A difficult situation. It seems I'm being investigated by the National Office of Security Enforcement. There is a particular unit that has a hard-on for me. And why? Because Markiashvili won't sell me the Rampage. You'll get rid of them. I will own this fucking team.
Hey, the problem ain't just gonna disappear over here if we kill some crooked cops.
Leave that strategizing to me. If the money tells you to cut your fucking legs off, you'll do it. Because the money is better than a fucking leg. The money is making the plans. That's the American way.
All right, man.
Thank you. I like you. I make you rich. I make you man. Maybe I'll make you a man with one leg, but I'll make you a rich man with one leg. There is this team tracing a cow mine. Take out the whole team, no exceptions.
Okay, man, if that's what the money wants.
You're a bright guy, Louis. I still like you. You made a good choice coming here. Fag man, no good. Go. Roll the bitch. Chang, 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 chang.
Having seen opportunity in the services of Luis Lopez, Ray would hire Luis again to help him personally make the next strike by ambushing the corrupted authorities in a car park off of Topaz Street.
It's good to have you with us, Louis.
Yeah?
Yes, it must be nice for you to get out from the under Big Tony.
I don't know what you're implying, bro. Tony and me are partners. I got a stake in the enterprise.
A steak, sure. You still take orders from him, don't you? You clean up his shit. Please, it could be much more than that. Unless you enjoy working for such a man, partner or whatever you call it.
Really, bro? I don't know. When I was left to my own devices, I got locked up. At least with Tony's guidance, I ain't doing time.
Perhaps, for now, perhaps. But do you think you're achieving everything you could? A man with your talents, in your condition, you could have anything you want. I didn't get to where I am without being able to see the worth of man.
That's real flattering, Mr. Bulgarin. But whatever it is you're offering, I'm gonna have to decline. Me and Tony's is a business relationship. He gets his kicks elsewhere, but he's been a good boss to me, and a good guy. Help me out.
I'm not a fucking faggot!
Whatever you say, bro. But what are you talking about?
I was saying that I may be interested in investing in your potential.
Potential as what?
As a businessman, I'm looking for someone here in Liberty City with the correct relationship.
I already got one employer. Like I said, he's been good to me.
Of course, but what is he? He is a drug addict, a madman. You are useful to him, but you think that is all he wants from you. When some new muscle-bound pretty boy comes along, he will forget about you and your precious stake in the Tony Prince Empire.
Whatever, bro. Can we talk about something else? What am I doing here?
You are helping me with my business.
This don't seem like legitimate business to me, man.
Nothing can be achieved here in Liberty City with actual pigs rooting through my affairs. For anything to happen, they must be eliminated.
Okay, man. You really can't buy these people off?
Sometimes a price is more effective if paid out of lead, not gold. This is the first lesson I will give you.
Okay. Hey, man, what's up?
What do you mean, what's up? Where are you?
Look, man, I'm taking care of some personal business. I'll come see you later, okay?
I'm cracking up here, Luis. Hurry the fuck up. How long are you gonna be?
I don't know, man. I gotta go.
Your master calls?
Yeah, man.
I see. And does he know that you are here with us?
No.
Interesting.
I guess so.
Publica over there. We will conceal ourselves. Place a bomb where they will not see it.
Ray, Timur, and Louise would lie in wait for the group inside the garage and wait for the perfect opportunity to detonate planted explosives on Ray's car, killing dozens of the agents before cleaning up the rest in a deadly firefight.
No doubt.
Now, Louise, this is fair. Wait for it. Detonate when they come to the car, okay?
Close it, people!
Detonate.
Having survived the encounter and eliminated Ashvili's protection, Ray would once again make an offer to purchase the Rampage from him, and once again be turned down much to Ray's frustration. Being an exceedingly violent and single-minded man, Bulgarin would decide the only way to buy the team would be to make the position of owner available by more forceful means. Ray would once again employ Luis Lopez as a hired gun, and leave him seemingly no option in acting as a hitman despite Luis's reservations.
Sit down. Sit down.
Sure.
Can I get you anything? A drink? Something stronger, huh?
I'm cool, bro.
You know how to play the drums? We need a fucking drummer.
I ain't your man, bro. Sorry.
You Spanish have the rhythm. Give us a fucking beat, man. You don't drum, but you dance, don't you, Luis? You dance.
I can dance, man, but not with you and him.
That's a shame.
You dance, Mr. B?
Money doesn't dance. The money doesn't dance, my friend.
Okay, but you need some work done.
Wait. Listen. Ooh. This is it. This is it. Ooh.
Hey, can you ask the ape to stop playing for a second?
You want I should stick $50,000 guitar up your ass?
No, but I got some friends I can introduce you to if that's how you get your kicks.
Oh, funny guy.
All right. All right. Okay. You have heard about Liberty City. Rampage. The owner still will not accept my offers. I have been more than reasonable.
You mean after you killed this special team of cops? It's weird. You want me to negotiate with him?
No. The time for negotiations over. Do what needs to be done in his boardroom. Send a message.
Hey, I ain't a hitman, bro. I mean, I'll fight anyone, do whatever. But I ain't a contract killer.
The offices are in the Me TV buildings. Getting in will not be easy.
You'll have to find someone else, man. I mean, it's not my thing. I ain't qualified for that shit.
I'm sorry. I wasn't discussing your career development. I was telling you what to do. Now, fuck off and go. Поехали.
Louise would infiltrate the MeTV building in downtown Algonquin with assistance from Timur, parachuting down onto the roof and making his way through the building by cutting down Ashvili's bodyguards one at a time. Upon reaching Ashvili himself, he would plead to be spared, believing Louise to be sent after him for an incident supposedly involving an underage Latin girl, or that Lopez was a Kremlin assassin. But his words would be ignored when Lopez shoots him dead out of the window of his own office. With Ashvili dead, Ray would presumably manage to finally purchase the Liberty City Rampage team, but his victory would be short-lived and barely appreciated when soon after Bulgarin receives word on the investigation into the stolen diamonds. He would discover that a man known only as the Cook, who had served aboard the platypus which brought Niko Bellic into America, had at some point managed to steal the diamonds and bake them into a cake to covertly smuggle them into the city without being noticed. Ray would have his men locate the Cook and presumably torture and interrogate him for the contacts he sold the rocks to, before personally ordering his execution, by beheading the man and stuffing his head into the cake box he'd used to smuggle the diamonds off of the platypus. Learning from the Cook before his death that he'd sold the diamonds to gay Tony Prince, who Bulgarin had previously met through Luis Lopez, he would become livid with anger and begin plotting his dramatic takedown of both Luis and Tony. Ray would call Luis to his sister's home in Dukes one last time and lure Lopez into a trap by sending him to supposedly meet Timur and serve as backup for an unknown job. Ray would be so visibly angry when dealing with Luis that when his sister Galina berates him for being a failure, he finally snaps and fires several bursts of AK-47 rounds into the ceiling of her home, possibly killing her, though Ray would immediately change the subject and leave her fate unknown.
Ah, Mr. Lewis.
Hey, where's the one-man band?
He's working.
Oh, okay.
Ray! Hey, Ray!
Have company! Shut up!
Don't tell me to shut up!
So, I've heard from some people I know that maybe you have some diamonds for sale.
Not me, my boss, Tony. Oh, my other boss.
Yeah. You got them from the fat cook.
Ray! Ray! What are you still doing here anyway?
I'll stay as long as I like.
You think you're a big man? Where's your house on Middle Park East? Where's your big sports team, huh?
Shut up, you cunt! Shut up, you fucking cunt!
Hey, man, is she okay?
A big gun next to a big man, huh? Your thingy was tiny, even before the wrestling coach make you take steroids. Mother always said she only had daughters.
Ignore her, Luis. The diamonds. Tell me.
I gotta talk to Tony.
You gotta talk to Daddy. I thought I was making you a real man, not a rand boy.
Bro, I can't sell what ain't mine, bro. And plus, with all the work I put in for you, I don't really feel like a man yet.
Okay. Soon, man, soon. I want you to cover Timur's back. He's going to talk to some people. I need you there.
Okay, man, I got it. But you should chill out, bro.
Let me decide when to chill out. Go!
Upon arriving at the meeting point atop an apartment complex on the corner of Columbus and Denver Avenue, Louise would phone Ray to tell him he'd arrived, only for Bulgarin to finally drop the act when Lopez discovers the cook's head in a box left on the roof as a message to Louise.
Hey.
Yeah, what's up? I'm here.
Yeah, okay. You're in position. Do you see a box in front of you?
Yeah.
Open it. Have you opened it yet?
No, give me a sec.
No.
Okay, I'm here.
Do you recognize this man?
Shit!
I believe you parted with him in a diamond deal.
Yo, what the fuck? Is this the guy we bought the ice from?
You colluded with him to steal from me.
Yo, we just got some rocks off him, okay? Look, listen.
No, you listen. I offered you an opportunity, yet you were plotting against me.
Yo, I know shit about those rocks.
But I believe it doesn't matter. I will do everything in my considerable power to drive you and your faggot master from this earth. Goodbye.
Oh, shit! Fucking great.
Unfortunately for Ray, Luis's considerable talents would prove too much for his men, and Lopez would manage to escape unharmed after killing all of his attackers. Once again empty-handed in the attempts to foil a formidable rivalry, Ray would become determined to get his property back, and make those responsible for stealing from him and selling it pay dearly. Though Louise and Tony Prince would briefly debate returning the diamonds upon surviving Ray's initial assassination attempt, they would ultimately decide to try selling them once again, or rather, exchanging them when the diamonds are demanded as the only acceptable payment for a kidnapped Gracie Ancelotti, daughter of the equally powerful mobster to Ray, Giovanni Ancelotti, and friends to Tony and Louise. Upon learning that the exchange would be taking place on Charge Island, possibly from Giovanni himself given Ray's connections to organized crime, he would arrive just in time with a group of his men to learn that not only was Louise present, but so too was Niko Bellic once again, who had coincidentally been the one to kidnap Giovanni's daughter Gracie in the first place, with help from the Dukes-based Irish mobster Patrick "Packy" McCreary.
Niko Bellic. How is it? That whenever something is stolen from me, you're not far away.
I have never stolen anything from you, Mr. Bulgarin.
This man, the big Pedic and his Dominican beach, they stole my diamonds. And you have been trying to rob the thieves, to rob me. Кончай!
I don't care what you did to that man, but we ain't leaving here without them diamonds.
Ray would leave his men to finish up Niko, Packy, Tony, and Louise, but they would miserably fail to kill a single one of them, with Louise and Tony escaping by boat with the kidnapped Gracie Ancelotti, and Niko and Packy fighting their way through Ray's forces before catching up with the one who grabbed the diamonds. Knowing that either Niko and Packy would kill him there or Ray would kill him later, the goon would toss the diamonds into a passing dump truck, and they would disappear from the criminals' lives forever. For the full story on the Diamond's journey through Liberty City and what became of them after, see our special episode from Season 1.
I don't nobody having them. Screw all of you.
Lléveno isto.
You selfish piece of cock-sucking shit.
With Niko and Louise still alive, Ray would, as seems to have been typical for him, give up his pursuits for the time being in order to focus on more prosperous opportunities, likely with intentions to try and kill his rivals again in the future, when their guards were lowered. Around this time, Ray would learn that Niko Bellic had tracked down and killed Dmitry Raskolov and dozens of his men at the docks in East Hook, while offloading a massive stolen heroin shipment, and take the chance to claim it for his own organization. Using his right-hand man Timur, Ray would order the product to be hidden inside duck-shaped carnival bins and stored at Firefly Island, while offloading, before deciding to leave America for the relative safety of his criminal operation back in Europe. Sensing the inevitable dread of Ray's reach and future wrath, Luis Lopez would make plans for one final effort at saving his and Tony's lives, when he learns about Ray's operation moving H and Broker, and senses an opportunity to strike. Luis would ambush Timur and Ray's forces at Funland, and cut them down mercilessly, Timur included, before destroying the heroin bins himself and leaving the park to try and catch up with Ray before his plane left the country. At the last possible moment, and with help from the eccentric billionaire Yusuf Amir, Luis Lopez would manage to catch Bulgarin's fleeing jet and clamber aboard for a final confrontation with the Russian mobster. In a last-ditch, desperate effort to survive, Ray would use a live grenade to threaten Luis into abandoning his assassination attempt, but a desperate Lopez, knowing that he was dead if he didn't anyway, would take his chances and shoot Ray regardless. From the grave, Ray's bitter resentment in the face of defeat would indeed see his grenade activated, but a quick and agile Louise would still manage to escape from the wreckage by parachuting to the ground. In a ball of fire and metal, the final moments of both Ray and his criminal operation would crumble, literally, into the water surrounding Liberty City, and a chapter of violence and death would be closed on Liberty City history.
I have grenade! You kill me, we all die! You can't shoot me, you'll blow whole plane up!
I'll take my chances.
Ray Bulgarin was a rude, hateful, and dehumanizing psychopath of the worst variety, responsible for the death of numerous people through his life going back decades, and never ever showing the slightest hint of remorse for any of his horrific actions. Ray appeared to care only about material pleasures in life. Rock and roll, sex, often paid for, expensive memorabilia, and waterfront property when he could get away with it, and even outright buying an entire American hockey team. Whether Ray was only a surface-level psycho or secretly housed some deeper, more relatable human traits remains unknown, but if one accepts the idiom of actions speak louder than words, then the only logical conclusion is that he was an all-out monster. Ray believed the American capitalist mindset of everything has its price to clearly be a liberating one, perhaps beyond what most Americans would even consider acceptable. And this fascination likely stemmed from his time growing up in a communist state, where ownership on the level expected by average Americans was only afforded to the wealthiest and most privileged among Russia's elite oligarchs. Whatever the reasons, Ray frequently paid for anything and everything he wanted while living in Europe, and most especially in America, believing that every woman was essentially a prostitute if he offered enough of his considerable fortune to sleep with them. Complementing this horrible mindset was Ray's willingness and possibly even enthusiasm for human trafficking, taking joy and pleasure in the power and privileges afforded to him as a powerful, and most importantly, feared man almost anywhere he went. Ray does not appear to have had any truly normal relationships at all, and his only known friends were his business associates such as Timur or Dmitry Raskolov, who likely only worked with Ray out of his own fear of the dangerous and powerful Russian mobster. His only known family member, given the ambiguity surrounding Bulgarin's parents, even seemed to have actively hated him, even beyond what a normal sibling rivalry might bring one to expect, and she actively chastised him for any and all of his failures, and his propensity to solve all of his problems with a machine gun rather than words. It's even possible that Ray killed his own sister out of simple annoyance, and he frequently referred to her in some of the most derogatory terms known to Americans, showing that he only used his relationship with her out of convenience, and he likely didn't or wasn't even capable of loving her or anyone else. Ray was heavily influenced by all things media, having a love for music, mostly metal it seems like, along with an appreciation for fine art, cabinet video games, and American sports. He was so obsessed with celebrities, memorabilia, and decorative adornments that he would purchase paintings for $20 million, guitars for $50,000, and an entire hockey team for an undisclosed but presumably vast sum of money, before his lack of success led him to use force. Being a clear lover of capitalism, Ray would oddly enough almost always try to purchase something before turning to violence, but would never hesitate to employ it when a price could not be found. He would even go so far as to apparently threaten and possibly even kill the families of people who refused to sell him the things that he wanted, making his own price when one could not be agreed upon. What motivated Ray Bulgarin then seems to be a simple desire to have whatever he wanted whenever he wanted it, with much of his frustrations in life stemming from situations which saw outcomes differ from what he expected, and seemingly demanded from reality itself. Ray was incredibly short-tempered, homophobic, misogynistic, and prejudiced towards anyone who wasn't himself in general, and only derived external pleasure from things like music and empty sexual relations. Having no known wife or other spouses throughout his life, and never having children, or much in the way of a lasting legacy. Ray Bulgarin was a slightly above average height Russian man with a heavy build and fairly stereotypical Russian facial features. He had short light brown hair and sported a simple mustache with a fairly clean chin occasionally covered in light stubble. His style of dress was known to change, arguably drastically depending on what he found himself doing, preferring to wear typical Russo-American garb such as the track jackets common in places like Hove Beach when confronting Niko Bellic and meeting with Dmitry Raskolov, but wearing considerably more casual outfits when lounging around his sister's home, jamming out on one of his many expensive guitars. He appears to have been slightly overweight and either out of shape or too conditioned by the American appreciation for laziness to actively involve himself in his business affairs unless absolutely necessary. As we stated earlier, it isn't clear exactly when Ray Bulgarin's criminal career began. Some believe he started his criminal exploits as a human trafficker and mobster back in the Soviet Union days, while others claim he didn't come into his own as a criminal until first arriving in America sometime prior to 1989. Whatever the case may be, we can only ever account for the crimes we suspect the subjects of this series commit, and in the case of Bulgarin, reliable records on his criminal past in Russia, if it existed, could not be obtained, and thus, we are limited to his exploits in America between '89 and his death in 2008. With that out of the way, let's look at what crimes we do know he was responsible for, starting with human sex trafficking at the Liberty City docks in 1989. Accessory manslaughter and human trafficking when a trafficking vessel under his protection is sunk in the Adriatic Sea. Attempted murder when trying to track down Niko Bellic for revenge across Europe. Numerous uncounted human trafficking charges. Presumed illegal re-entry into the United States in 2008. The attempted murder of Niko Bellic at a warehouse in East Hook. Soliciting prostitution at a nightclub. Conspiracy accessory murder and murder when ambushing a group of Noose, FIB agents, and LCPD officers. Conspiracy accessory murder when ordering Louise to infiltrate the MeTV building to kill Markiashvili and all of his guards. The murder of the cook. The possible murder of his sister, Galina Bulgarin. The attempted murder of Luis Lopez at a sniper ambush. The attempted murder of Niko Bellic, Luis Lopez, Tony Prince, and Gracie Ancelotti, though she wasn't a target, and Patrick McCreary. Stealing a shipment of heroin when Dmitry Raskolov is killed. Intention to distribute drugs when offloading the heroin into duck-shaped bins for concealment and future sale. The attempted murder of Luis Lopez. While the known crimes of a man like Ray Bulgarin can hardly stack up to his most bitter of enemies in Luis Lopez or Niko Bellic, there should be no doubt, dear viewer, that Ray was a dangerous, powerful, and completely immoral murderer. Though many subjects on this show have shown very human traits underneath their hundreds of known murders, Ray is not among them. Very few people who have become noteworthy from the American Criminal Hall of Shame have been as deprived and willing to sink to the depths that Bulgarin was more than comfortable to live his daily life in. Is there a price for everything in America? Men like Ray Bulgarin certainly thought so, and given their success at commodifying violence and intimidation, and the fact that it was other criminals and not the law which brought about his downfall, who's to say they're wrong? America is a dangerous place, folks, and tonight's subject was just one more reason to avoid that suspicious individual delivering mysterious packages to your door every single day. Stay indoors, people. You never know if the mailman is secretly plotting your downfall with forces from within the government. I'll see you next time on another exciting edition of Grand Theft Auto Biographies with me, your host, Guinness Walker. Thank you for watching.